Welcome. Thank you for joining us for Shanti in Place, our weekly meditation gathering. An invitation here to find, or perhaps more intentionally settle into, a comfortable seat or posture. Whether we're seated on the floor or in a chair, just taking a moment to more intentionally and with awareness and purpose connect to our seat. Our seat is that which grounds us, either in the literal physical sense or metaphorically, our place. If we haven't already done so, we can close the eyes or soften the gaze here. Perhaps taking a moment first to make sure that we are muted out. And we can keep our cameras on or off as we feel comfortable. The idea, of course, is to minimize distractions and to be conscientious and thoughtful about not inadvertently distracting others. We'll begin, as we generally do, with the ringing of the bell, and then taking 3 deep breaths together. If you'd like to follow along, we'll pace these breaths so that we'll inhale together for a count of about 4 or 5 beats. We'll hold the breath for about the same length of time, 4 or 5 beats. And then if it feels comfortable and accessible to us, we can exhale, elongating the breath, perhaps for 6 or 7 beats. Of course, these are just guidelines or tools to help us to settle the breath and find intentionality around the breath. If this works for us, we're welcome to follow along. If not, just find whatever works for us in this moment. Breathing in deeply. Hold. And out. In. Hold. Release. Last time, in. Hold. And out. Continuing to breathe deeply and with purpose, and allowing the breath to find its own pace, to settle into itself. as the breath settles gently and with ease, bringing our awareness, our observation to the breath. Noticing the sensation of the breath, finding its pace, settling into itself. Simply noticing the breath. As we notice the breath, it's natural perhaps to notice other things, to notice whatever sensations we're experiencing. To notice perhaps other sounds in the room, sights, or if our eyes are closed, maybe even the play of light and shadow. Noticing perhaps the texture or feeling of the air, the temperature or climate where we are. Any fragrances or scents. We experience so much of the outer world in our day-to-day lives through the medium of the senses. So we might be noticing in this moment, whatever the senses are connecting with, or perhaps even whatever is pulling on the senses, drawing on them, vying for their attention. If we experience this happening, we can simply take notice of it without judgment, and then simply bring our awareness back to the breath, back to this simple act of noticing the breath. Or as some teachers say, sitting with the breath. If it's helpful to us, we might imagine or visualize in our mind's eye a dear friend has come to visit with us for just a few minutes. These 15 or 20 minutes. This is precious time that our friend who has traveled from so far has committed to being with us. And we've committed these few minutes to being with them. How precious are these few minutes with this dear friend? What a gift their presence is. How would we like to reciprocate with this gift, with this visit from this dear friend? How would we like to sit with them? Perhaps we'd like to convey to them how special they are to us. Perhaps even express to them that in this moment they are the topmost priority, that they are for us, for our hearts, for our minds, for our attention, the center. They are our focus. How do we want to show our friend our gratitude? How would we like to lean in to this time with them? Continuing to allow our awareness to simply rest on the breath. If it's helpful, envisioning or imagining this dear friend sitting very close to us, perhaps leaning in to share something in confidence, to share something personal and intimate. Or perhaps simply to share a smile, some warmth, affirmation, and love. Imagining perhaps ourselves leaning in, reciprocating with that intimacy, allowing everything else to recede into the background or to be placed on hold. Not forever, but just for these precious last moments spent with our dear friend. What a remarkable, dear, loving friend our breath is. Our constant companion. Our patient companion. What a selfless, giving, wonderful friend this breath is. Can we sit with this friend for just a few moments more? Reciprocating with their friendship and their presence. What an amazing friend the self is. The patient, caring observer and witness. The inner guide. And conduit of wisdom. What an amazing companion. With us always, and in these few precious minutes of quiet and intentional pause. This friend comes to visit and sit with us for some time. How wonderful to be present to this friend, this companion, to sit with them, in this moment of being. Continuing to notice the breath, to sit with the breath. Perhaps leaning in even more closely in these final moments. We'll take a final deep breath together, breathing in deeply through the nose or softly between the lips, whatever is more natural and accessible to us. Holding the breath in a gesture or posture of finding that stability and strength, that centering, and then releasing the breath and on the exhale, chanting or hearing and being present to the powerful sound vibration, the sacred syllable Om, the sound of the universal, the ever-present, the eternal. Taking a deep breath in. Om. An invitation here in a way that feels comfortable and natural to you, to once again open the eyes or widen the gaze, returning our awareness and our presence to our external surroundings, to the room that we're sitting in, and to this wonderful virtual gathering, this Zoom room that we've gathered together in. So thank you again for joining us. This was a bit of a longer practice today, so we won't have an accompanying wisdom teaching. But I hope that this particular practice of sitting with the breath, sitting with ourselves, carving out that time, I hope that it's resonated with you, whether it's a part of your practice already or something that's newer to you. And I want to invite you to, if this has resonated or if you'd like to explore it more deeply, to continue on your own time to think of or envision meditation as a time of sitting with a friend, of giving that personal attention, leaning into and being intentionally present with ourselves, with our breath, with the present moment. So thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. And I look forward to connecting with you again next week. Thank you. Namaste.